Hey everybody, I'm Mama Baird and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have another Frugal Friday and we are going to be going over some pork that I got for clearance at my store, Super One. This is a store that does a lot of markdowns on meats and they don't do percentages like some other stores do. They do dollar amount coupons that they add to the meat. Let me show you. I was able to find 4 packages of meat and 2 of them had a $2 off coupon that you would take off the total, and then 2 of them had a $1 off coupon. And I've seen the coupons go all the way up to $5, and then sometimes they'll put 2 $5 ones on there, so that one piece of meat will be $10 off. So you can find really good deals if you get there at the right time. I happened to get these. The first thing I got was 2 pork cutlets, and these were ones that have been tenderized and like patted down, so you can make, like, you know how country fried steak or chicken fried steak, you can make pork fried steak with a pork cutlet instead of chicken or beef. And this was $2.60, this one was $2.73, and they were each $1 off. So that makes one of them $1.60, and this one is 0.58 of a pound. And then this one is only $1.73, and it is 0.61 of a pound. So for over a pound of meat, we paid $3.33, and we're gonna turn these into some delicious chicken fried pork. There we go. And I'm just gonna serve them with mashed potatoes and then some kind of veggie that I already have in my pantry. So that means that meal for my husband and I is only going to cost us the price of the meat. And then I was able to grab 2 packages of some boneless sirloin chops. So this is super exciting because pork you could really use to substitute anything like chicken or beef. So say you have a hamburger helper and it calls for a pound of diced chicken. You can use a pound of diced pork and just do it exactly the same way. You can often find pork very cheap, and I find it discounted all the time. I don't know if a lot of people don't eat pork, but this one was a pound, 1.07 pounds. It had the $2 off coupon, so it was only $2.26 for over a pound of pork. And then same thing over here, and this is boneless as well, same thing over here. This had a $2 off coupon, so it was $2.50 for over a pound. So I'm going to be able to get at least 3, if not 4 meals out of this for under $8. Wow, that was a great deal. So for my plan for tonight is I'm going to cut open one of these, and then the kids get free lunches. And with the school lunches, it comes with raw veggies, and they usually either get broccoli or they'll get a bag of carrots here. The kids aren't too keen on raw veggies. Sometimes I do open them up and put some ranch in front of them and they'll eat them, but we just get an excessive amount. So I'm going to incorporate some of these into dinner as well and roast them in my air fryer along with the pork and 1 Idaho potato. So we're gonna get all this cubed up roughly the same size, toss it in olive oil and some ranch seasoning, and that's gonna be the kids' dinner. And then I'm going to be, later on when husband gets home, we're going to bread and fry these pork cutlets, and we're gonna turn them into country fried pork. We're gonna make some mashed potatoes, we're going to cook up some green beans. It sounds like a great dinner, and husband's gonna be starving, so it's gonna be great for him. So that's the plan. I think with this last one, I'm just going to maybe cube it up and then vacuum seal it and then have it in my freezer for whenever I need cubed meat. I have a pound of it cubed up ready to go. So let's get in here and let's get to work. If you're new to my channel, my name is Carolina. I live in Montana. I do a lot of pantry cooking, budget shopping, and product reviews on my channel. If that's the kind of content you're into, I hope you consider subscribing. I'd love to have you come join my YouTube family. I also have a Facebook group, Mama Baird's Homestead. Please come and join me over there. I would love to chat, get to know you. We post a lot of recipe sharing. I like to have quizzes and stuff over there that I only do on my Facebook group, not on my YouTube. So I would love to have you come and be a part of that as well. All right, guys, so let's get in here and let's cook up some grub for the kids. They are out playing in the pool. So we are going to cook this in the air fryer so we can feed them when they get in. All right, I got my 1 package here. It's 1.13 pounds that we're going to add. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit all of this. I might just do half a pound, split it up, and then I might have another extra one here. I also have a container here. I'm going to go ahead and put these pork cutlets in here, and they're going to be soaking in milk until they're ready for me to use. See, it's just like one of these boneless porks that are just flattened out. It's gonna make a big, big cutlet. So you could actually Probably have enough. I don't know if we would have enough for all 5 of us. I might be able to take one and split it up between the kids, but I'll make them this too, just in case. The kids, they keep eating more and more now, so. All right, so this is 2% milk. I'm just gonna let this soak in here. It's gonna kind of help moisturize it. Pork is very lean. We'll let that sit, and then we'll get that in the fridge. All right, so before I get the pork cutting on my board, I want to make sure I get all my veggies prepped and taken care of. I'm just going to be opening this in here. I love that the school gives them fresh veggies, though. That is very nice. They switch it up between broccoli, carrots. Sometimes they have bell peppers, sliced bell peppers, which my daughter just calls dibs on all those. She loves raw bell pepper. Now for this potato, it has a big gash in here. It's still usable, but you do want to kind of cut around that. You see that was dirt that came out of it. You can also wedge it, like so. And that will also remove it. There we go. And then I'm just going to go ahead and peel this by cutting off the edges here. Not using a peeler. Some people use a paring knife as well. Some people don't peel them. With it having that gash, I'm going to cut it pretty well, or peel it pretty well. A couple of spots here and there. It's not going to hurt. I did wash this beforehand. But I'm going to give it a rinse. And then I'm just going for bite size. This potato and the pork is probably going to take the longest to cook, so I want these to be a little smaller. I think one potato will also be enough. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and move on to the pork now that everything else is taken care of. I always smell meat. I know sometimes seeing reduced meat worries people, but it doesn't mean that the meat's bad. It just means they're trying to sell it before it goes bad. So there's nothing wrong with it. And I always make sure I smell it. You want to feel for slimy. Like this may feel slimy for you, but bad slimy is like if you touch it and like goop comes with and you get like a string that follows you. That's the kind of slimy I'm talking about. So if that's the kind of slime you encounter, then it's no good. I would not even risk it. Sometimes things can be off-colored, so the off-color doesn't always mean that it's bad. That's just kind of how meat is, especially in commercial meat industry. So, but this is good. I always smell it. Meat shouldn't really have a smell, same as fish shouldn't really have a smell. So if you smell something, then it's probably no good. You don't want to throw food away if it's still good, but you also don't want to eat it if it's bad. It's a fine line, and you know, it takes some practice, but you'll learn it, and just trust your instincts, you know, and they always say when in doubt, throw it out. Same thing. So that was one of them. Let's go ahead and just dice up the other one. All right, so that's a pound. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in. All right, I'm gonna put about 3/4 of it in with the meal. And then we're gonna chop up the rest of this, and I'm gonna separate it in between 2, maybe 3. So that way if anything calls for a pound of meat, I can just use these. Because we could probably just do 3/4 of a pound if we wanted to stretch it even further. All right, moving on to dinner tonight. I got these put in here. We'll get those all straightened up. I got a dirty hand, so I'm gonna try and keep this one hand dirty because we're going to be tossing. We got oil, that's olive oil, and then this is just So generic ranch seasoning. We're gonna coat all of this. I find it a lot easier to get my hands in there and just mix them with that. Now I have a tendency of using too small of a bowl for what I need to mix, and this just falls straight into that, but you make it work. I also make sure that I sanitize the counter around it whenever I was done, and that's all you have to do to get this mixed up. Alright, I'm just gonna put this directly into the air fryer there, and then we're gonna give it some shakes, so don't worry about that. Whoop, just like I gave the camera a shake. Alright, so let's, oh, it has a vegetable button. I haven't tried that. 320 for 18 minutes. Let's do air fry. And then let's go down to 10 minutes. And then we'll be shaking it in between as well. While that cooks, I'm gonna go ahead and get this vacuum sealed and marked up that this is 1 pound of diced pork. Oh, there we go, guys. That looks good. Alright guys, this was about 15 minutes in the air fryer. All that looks delicious. Let's give it a try. Alright, now, this is not all for me, obviously. It's for the children, but let's give it a try. The potatoes are cooked all the way through, pork tender.
Can you put ketchup on the potatoes?
I will, yes. That was hot. Woo! You can definitely taste that ranch. It tastes good. Look, this pork got a little sear to it. If you have not cooked in your air fryer, or if you're scared of your air fryer, or it's been in the box for 20 years since you got it for your wedding gift, please take your air fryer out of the box, give it a try. Food is delicious in it. This pork is absolutely delicious, super juicy still. Pork? Probably gonna serve this all with ketchup though for the children. Look at this broccoli. Nice and crispy. Broccoli stems are so tender. I bet these will still have a little crunch to them. But they do. Probably a little too crunchy.
Too crunchy?
Carrots could have done for a little longer, but that's okay. They still have the flavor. They're still a little soft, but they're also crunchier than I would normally cook them. Well, I might not save some for the children. All right, I'm going to dish this up for the kids and get them fed, and then husband's going to be home in an hour or so. So I'm going to let those other pork cutlets just chill in the milk in the fridge, and then when he comes home, we will get those breaded. I'm going to make some mashed potatoes from some home canned potatoes that I need to get used up. Let's see if we can turn them into mashed potatoes. And then we're going to cook some green beans. So it's going to be a delicious meal, and don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, we are back, and I'm ready to cook husband and I's dinner. What I picked from my pantry is 1 pint of green beans, and then I have a quart of Idaho potatoes that we're going to be turning into mashed potatoes. I also happen to have a Louisiana seasoned crispy chicken fried chicken batter mix spicy recipe. I don't know why I put a southern accent on there, sounding like you just got to do it when you're coming from Louisiana, you know. So we gonna try this. Now, if you don't have this, usually 1 cup of flour to 1 cup of cornstarch is kind of your ratio to a dry batter mix, and then you just add seasonings to it. But we're gonna use this. This is best by January of 2026. What do you know? I'm using something up before it expires. Go me. So we're just going to use this whole bag because they're pretty big cutlets. You can also make a wet batter out of this, but we're just gonna do it dry since we have it soaking in milk. Alright, so I got that ready. I got this ready. I'm going to start my pans. I'm using my induction burner just so I can cook over here. Alright, So I'm turning those on. Let's fry our pork chops in here, pork cutlets. I'm also going to use my immersion blender to mix my mashed potatoes. So that's going to be something fun. And then I also had some par-cooked bacon bits. I kept this in the freezer and I pull one out at a time. Sometimes it's par-cooked, sometimes it's completely raw, but they're all ground up, and then I add this to a lot of meals. So we're going to mix this in with our green beans. So that is the plan. To our oil for these cutlets, I'm going to do olive oil. We're just going to make kind of like enough of a layer for it to fry. I'm also going to add some butter to half of the butter I have here. Haven't made it to the crock yet, so. And that'll add some good flavor, because we're also going to probably make a gravy out of this. Might as well. And then over here, get our bacon bits opened up. And then I have some left over here that I can just fold this, or I can put it in another container for now. I'm gonna get this broken up, break it up. And this will cook for a little bit and then crispen up some, because I only par-cooked means they're partially cooked, so I don't have this all the way, so that way it can continue to cook whenever I need it for a recipe. And as for my potatoes, we're going to open these. I'm going to dump out half the liquid, and then I'm going to throw this in the microwave for 4 minutes. Alright, our oil here starting to bubble. Butter's melting. Let's go ahead and bread. Whoa! Wow, that's tender. Go right apart. Alright, just get in there. Tap it. Make sure it's fully coated. Oh boy, I'm excited. Chicken fried steak is one of those, chicken fried steak is one of those things that I always order when I go out, because I don't like making it at home, because I feel like it's kind of messy and just a lot of work. But it'll save you so much money, especially when you get a deal like this, to cook it at home. Alright, let's go into the oil. There we go. Bacon, break it up some. It's kind of warmed up. It was hard to break up at first because all that grease was hot. Alright, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to open up this green beans. We're going to strain it, drain it, pour the liquid out, and add it to our bacon. This is also peppered bacon, so I don't usually add too much pepper to things when I cook with it, because that pepper definitely comes out in it. So I'm going to add a little bit of salt to that. Just kind of get this picked up, moved around. This little small one too. Maybe I can make like a little mini one. It'd be cute. And give it a try. I also saw where you can make like fried finger ones where you cut it into strips and then bread it. That would be fun to try another time too. Especially if I want to make it for the whole family and stretch it out, that would be a good way to do that. Alright, I'm going to get the other one started breading. They're ready to go. I wonder how spicy this is. That's what I'm curious about. That spicy edition. Alright, now these green beans just pretty much needed to get heated up. One last thing I always like to throw on my green beans is some Who's Your Sister sauce. It kind of caramelizes it, browns it, and adds a good flavor to it. It's a good finishing, in my opinion, finishing sauce. Alright, turn the back one on. Alright, I got this front one off though. These are done. Oh, looks pretty good. Give her a flip. And then we'll come back to that. Our potatoes just went off. Let's go check them. All right, for these potatoes, I have like half of the liquid in there. And then let's puree this and see how that goes. Our mashed potatoes. I probably should have strained out a little more of the liquid. That would make it a little firmer, but that's okay. Live and learn. All right, this is frying up. I'm gonna flip it over one more time, kind of get that one side was needed a little more loving, crispifying. All right, now to these, I'm gonna go ahead and add this butter, some of it anyway. We're gonna save some for our gravy. And then let's add a little bit of salt. Definitely too much liquid, but that's okay. How do you guys use your canned potatoes? I'm still trying to find ways to use them. And last time I made these, I poured out all the water and I was like, oh, I need to leave some, and now I left too much. So it's always a process. Green beans taste good. Let's taste the potatoes. Oh yeah, those taste good. All right, so those two things are done. Yeah, those are hot. All right, it's almost done. I'm going to try and get as much grease off as possible. We're going to put it on some paper towels to try and drain some of that off with those little pieces. And all these little bits are really going to help to make a super tasty gravy. I don't know if I'm going to need to add more oil. We might just leave that as is, see how it goes. Here's what it looks like. It looks pretty good. Alright, let's do this final one. These are huge and falling apart. Oh, this one's gonna have to get done in batches. That's okay. Not a big deal. Alright, well that one cooks. Let's go ahead and make a plate. Woo! Sweating up a storm here. Not only is it hot in the world today, hot in the kitchen too, so let's try one of these little bits here. Oh yeah. It's super tender. You can literally pull it apart. That's good breading. Has anybody heard of that before? Louisiana. Very good. It's not like super spicy. It's alright. It's alright. Alright, so this guy's done. Now you could always keep your oven on like 200 to keep it warm. So if you're making batches, like a bunch of these, that'll help keep it warm. Luckily, I'm just doing the 2 right now. I wonder if you could freeze these after you fry them and then just reheat them in the air fryer. That would be pretty good. Then you can make like a bunch at a time. Oh, that's good. Alright, we're going to finish frying these 2 pieces and then I'll bring you back when it's time to make the gravy. Alright, we have our pork fried steaks done. Now we're going to make the gravy. I have everything left in here. The oil pretty much reduced down, not very much. There's some of the crusties from the breading in here. We're going to leave that in there. And we're going to turn this into our gravy. So, I'm going to add some whole or all-purpose flour. That's what's going to help thicken it up. I'm going to be using turkey stock for this, turkey broth, because that's what I have. You can use chicken, you could just add water if you wanted, you could use the better than bouillon, you could use beef, you know, whatever. Homemade turkey stock's just what I happen to have a lot of. Alright, so let's... You just keep adding it so it's to the thickness that you want. It's kind of like magic, that flour thickening it up. Yeah. Looks pretty good. Let's try the sauce. Let's turn it off. I'm going to add a smidgen of salt. I do not salt my broth, and I did find that seasoning a little undersalty, a little underseasoned, like the salt-wise needed a little bit of salt. And then let's add the last of this butter just to kind of like finish it off. There is our gravy. We'll give it one more taste. Oh yeah. All right, let's make a plate. All right, mashed potatoes. Now, some of you said that I make mine really stiff, so you maybe make yours readier like this, or do you make yours thicker than that? Let me know. I did mean to make them thicker, but you know, like I said, now we know for next time. These would also be good with some onions. These green beans. Beautiful presentation here. All right, let's give this a try. I got a giant fork here. It's the only thing I got clean here. All right. That is so good, and honestly, you can't even tell it's pork. Pork is definitely a good way to go if you're trying to save some money. If you don't mind eating pork, I like it, so. Mashed potatoes are good. That worked fantastic using the immersion blender. A little soupy, though. All right, let's try these green beans. Finished in Worcestershire sauce really makes a difference. Well guys, I am super happy with our Frugal Friday and how I was able to make 2 meals, probably 3 because we're gonna have a leftover, 3 meals, and then I was able to get a meal plus 2 for the freezer of those boneless pork chops. So that was super exciting. I think that was a great deal considering I only spent $8 on those 4 packages of meat. Well, thanks for coming along and seeing what I did for my Frugal Friday this week. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I'll catch you next time on Mama Baird's.